The News for Jack's I-Team is getting new insight into the scope of the fentanyl crisis in Florida. This comes after the Drug Enforcement Administration announced yesterday that it had seized more than 379 million doses of fentanyl this year. News for Jack's reporter Eric Avanier covers DEA investigations, joining us now live to break down the numbers and explain who's behind the production of this deadly synthetic opioid.
2 milligrams of fentanyl. To put that into perspective, that is about the equivalent of the tip of this ink pen, and it's just enough to be a lethal dose. And according to federal law enforcement officers, the demand for such a drug among addicts here in the U.S. is very high, and those drug cartels are doing everything possible to meet that demand.
Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, commonly known as El Mencho, is the undisputed leader of Cartel Jalisco New Generation, or CJNG, one of the most ruthless Mexican drug cartels in the world. El Mencho is also on the DEA's top most wanted list for running a crime organization that traffics an insane number of deadly narcotics, including fentanyl, into the U.S. And he's not alone. These four men are leaders of the Sinaloa cartel, another ruthless drug cartel in Mexico that is rival to CJNG. U.S. federal authorities say they also send an epic amount of fentanyl into the country.
The fentanyl pills.
Deanne Reuter is the DEA special agent in charge of the DEA Miami division. She oversees all DEA operations throughout the entire state of Florida. Reuter says CJNG and Sinaloa cartels are putting profits over lives.
The cartels are trying to drive addiction and get higher profits. And they can do this by sending more and more fentanyl and methamphetamine into the United States to poison our communities.
The fentanyl epidemic has become so widespread that recently DEA headquarters issued a nationwide alert about fake pills laced with fentanyl. It used to be that 4 out of every 10 fake pill made in cartel-owned labs were laced with fentanyl. Now the number is 6 out of every 10 pills. And the proof of that comes from the record number of fentanyl pills and powder seized by the DEA. The DEA says this year alone, agents have seized more than 50 million fake prescription pills that were really fentanyl. They also seized more than 10,000 pounds of fentanyl powder. Given that only 2 milligrams of fentanyl is enough to be potentially fatal if ingested, that equates to more than 379 potentially lethal doses, which is more than the entire U.S. population. And when you break down federal seizures in Florida, which has an estimated population of 21 million people,
the amount of fentanyl pills and powder that was seized has the potential to kill over 9 million Floridians.
And if you do the math on that, that is the entire population of Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, and Tampa combined, with more left over.
Correct.
Another way of calculating that many potential deaths are by looking at TIAA Bank Stadium, which can hold about 68,000 people for Jags games.
That's about 132 sold out games in the stadium to get to that 9 million.
According to the latest data from the Centers for Disease Control, more than 107,000 people died last year from a drug overdose. An overwhelming majority of those deaths involved fentanyl. While the death toll for 2022 is yet to be released, the DEA has recently begun an online campaign called The Faces of Fentanyl. It's an effort to remember the lives lost by fentanyl poisoning. Every week, and sometimes every day, relatives submit a photo of a loved one who died from a synthetic opioid that is making the cartels increasingly rich.
DEA agents every day that walk through the halls of our headquarters see these lives lost. And the reason we come to work every day is to try to save lives.
Now, here's what makes that even scarier. The number that we were just talking about, those are just numbers reported by the DEA as the amount of the fentanyl seizures that they had. It doesn't even include seizures from local law enforcement as well as other federal agencies. Reporting live, Eric Avanier, Channel 4, the local station.